first of all, it was an adventure going to see this movie.
Yeah, you might notice a totally different black background from my usual black background.
Yes.
That's because the power's out at my place and I'm spending the night at my brother's. So this will be the first time I've actually filmed a review with you before my own review.
Oh, really?
Yes, this is actually getting out my thoughts for the first time. I haven't even talked to my wife or Rob about it yet.
Do you know what the title of the video is going to be yet?
I do.
Will it be a spoiler for me
I'll slip it into the review somewhere.
Fantastic.
Yes.
I didn't even be... I would like to say that was intentional. And then the power was out at the movie theater, too. So I went over to just like one of the other AMCs, and when I was like, oh, I still have A-List on here. Okay, I'll use A-List for that. And it was going to be a 6:45 show. And I got there and saw, well, wait a minute. Let's see. It was 6:15 and there was a 6 o'clock show. I'm like, well, I'll go see that one. But I couldn't use another A-List for it. And I was like, you know what? I'll pay the $20 to not sit through 30 minutes of trailers.
Oh, that's right. That's a thing you can do, right? You can pay extra money to skip like the trailers and stuff. Or no, is that? No.
Oh no, I just.
Oh no,
mean...
they were. They were talking about that. That's right.
That'd be fantastic.
Didn't they? Was that it? Or they? Their AMC was no. It was a seating thing. That's right. To get the better seats, that was it. You pay more to get better seats, but they didn't follow through because there's a lot of backlash.
Oh, okay.
That's what I was thinking.
No,
my bad.
This was just simply I went to that theater that we usually go to, and it was still out of power and everything. So I got at the other theater at 6:15. So, and I used my A-List for the 6:45. But I was like, you know what? I'll pay extra just to go to the earlier one that I can skip. Oh no, even though I went in there at 6:20, there was still 20 minutes worth of trailers.
Right.
But well, obviously my review of this is going to be very positive because it's the first movie I saw after Smurfs.
It is other characters wearing blue, looking very cartoony a fair amount of the time. The baby definitely looked like the baby from Twilight, man. Good chunk of the time. I don't think that's a spoiler. They show in all the trailers that she's pregnant.
Yeah.
It's literally the first scene in the movie. Outside of that, I won't go into spoilers, but there's not a ton to spoil. Not a lot happens in this movie.
I actually, maybe we'll disagree because I really like this movie a lot.
I thought it was so boring.
Oh, really? I
could not get into it.
Yeah.
I didn't hate it by any means. My thought is that, because I was thinking about this, that this was going to be very similar to James Gunn's Superman that just came out.
Oh, okay.
And there are a lot of similarities. They both take place in kind of a retro but technologically advanced world. They both drop you right in the middle of the story. They don't really give you... it's not an origin story. It's kind of in the middle. They just sort of catch you up real fast in the beginning. There's a lot more going on in Superman, certainly. But with this, it does seem like they'll kind of throw a few things at you and kind of be like, well, keep up. This is just the kind of movie it is. The big thing with me is that there's a couple things comparing these two. With Superman, we've seen the origin story done. Not only have we seen it done so many times, we've seen it done well several times. Yeah, obviously the original Superman. I didn't care for Man of Steel, but a lot of people did, so at least we know there's a fan base that likes it. We have the animated series and everything, so it made sense to start in the middle. We have not gotten a good Fantastic Four movie yet, and with this, I know what they were thinking. Well, people know the origin, they go into space, they come back with superpowers, but it hasn't been done well yet. So as I'm watching this, I'm thinking, well, these actors are really good, and they're doing a very, very good job.
Yeah.
I wish I had more of a connection with them before they got the powers, and on top of that, it's not really about their life after the powers. I had to remind myself, Reed can stretch, Sue can turn invisible. Obviously, the Thing, we know his power, that's very obvious.
Yeah.
And Johnny's the only one that seems to consistently use his powers, and after the opening, where they just do a sum up of all these, and they fought these monsters, they fought the mole people, they blah, 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 blah. There are only 2 action sequences in this. One is on I don't know, a different planet, a different space, whatever. It just kind of looks like they're fighting in a CG factory, which wasn't very exciting. And then the second is at the very end, which all the people are out of the city, so I don't have a ton of suspense there. And most of it is them talking mathematical equations about how they're going to fix the problem, how they're going to stop the big baddie. And it just wasn't that exciting for me.
I didn't have a problem with any of that. As far as it not being an origin, I see what you're saying. It didn't bother me at all. I did enjoy the Roger Corman one. this movie actually has some nods to that.
No, and okay. I enjoy it too. I'm not gonna say it's good.
Sure, yeah.
But I do enjoy it. Yeah. I mean, before this one, I think most people would say it probably is the best one because they actually do try to stop evil and fight crime and stuff like that.
So I was really, as far as I didn't really notice that about there being only 2 big action sequences in it, mainly because I found them both very exciting, so I wasn't exhausted by the time that they happened. I mean, there is this chase sequence in the movie that also involves a zero-gravity labor scene, and it's insane. But I was really also just absorbed in the world that they created here. There's a lot of dialogue, there's a lot of interaction with the characters and everything, but I was constantly hooked on it because, again, I did like the performances in it. I see what you mean about not it taking a moment to connect because it's not an origin story, but there was kind of enough as it was going on that I did really like them as it went. And even I just liked being in this world that they created where it's this kind of futuristic 1960s that you would sort of see in like an old short, like one of those like General Motors like Highways of the Future shorts from back in the day that you might see in front of like Mystery Science Theater.
Yeah, all wearing fedora hats and stuff like that.
And
all that stuff.
I liked how they caught you up on everything by making it look like an old ABC news presentation. At least they were doing that very stylistically. And I even like little things like seeing brands that are like slightly different, but you know what they are, but there might be a word that's different. And then other stuff where it's like, well, Bretton Woods' Ooga Boogum song exists in this universe too. So like some things are tweaked, some things are the same.
For me, I did like the world at first. What happens for me is that as it keeps going, and particularly when they introduce the big threaded, I don't think, again, it's not spoiler to say Galactus is in this.
Oh, yeah.
And Galactus is very intimidating. He looks fake, but he looks and sounds intimidating.
Yeah.
And I did appreciate that. And by the time they start traveling to him, the rest of the movie does this thing where even, I'm not going to say like there's no good imagery in there. There is. I remember the surfing from the moon. That was cool. The birth scene actually is visually kind of cool.
Yeah.
But it kind of gets stuck in this, I don't even know how to describe it. I just think of the colors like black, gray, and orange for like the rest of the movie. And what I was liking about the film earlier is that there was certainly this lean towards like, you know, like 60s colors, obviously blue and white because that's her uniform, but also sort of these popping oranges and reds and again, very 60s colors, but that just kind of sticks in this one style. So that was not becoming very visually interesting for me to look at. A lot of the effects, again, I don't need them to look realistic. The surfer looks really bad in this, though. I really did not like... It didn't even look silver. It just looks sort of like a... How do I put it? In real life, sure, if somebody was made of silver, maybe that's how they would look. But that is one of the few things in one of the other Fantastic Four movies where when you saw the surfer... he always looked just like the comic. He was shiny, always reflective, always looked good. You know, and fake, but cool. He looked cool. And this one, just every time I saw her, she looked like just kind of flat and ugly and just like smudgy. I don't know. It's like, it's not only like silver, you know, and metal and stuff, but it looks like someone just took their thumbprints and put it, you know, kind of like smeared all over her. I also don't know. I know very little about Fantastic Four in terms of the comic, or Silver Surfer for that matter. I don't know. There's a female Silver Surfer.
I think it's
probably like
yeah,
they all have a
is.
gender switch at some
Yeah.
point. Something about. Because I was wondering, like, okay, like, could it be because it's a female body and it has hair? Could that be? I'm like, no, because I'm thinking, like, games I played before, like Smash Brothers, where, like, sometimes a character would get, like, that silver thing. It could be, like, I don't know, Samus or something out of the suit, and she'd be all reflective and stuff. I was like, no, that looked cool. That looked awesome and stuff like that. Why didn't this work? And I thought maybe because whenever she's around, it's always dark.
Yeah.
And that's when it goes to that black and orange, and gray color scheme. And just the reflections don't look good off of her. And on top of that, there's just a ton of moments you were talking about giving birth in space, which, agreed, is a great setup. But I was also thinking there's so many moments in here, even though I acknowledge it's a very optimistic, retro, comic booky world, there are still so many things where I go, wait a minute, like, she's pregnant, there's this threat to the planet, only the 4 of them can save the day, she's gonna give birth any day, hop aboard. I don't see that working, but at first I was going like, how are they gonna do this? And I'm like, wait, you know what? Maybe I want to see a goddamn pregnant woman fight a giant intergalactic monster. This sounds kind of cool because she's got force fields, she's the blah blah blah, and she is literally there just to give birth. Nothing else happens with her.
A lot of that stuff, I was sort of like, maybe this is just kind of normal in this version of the 1960s. But like, as far as
just get your 8th cigarette while you have the baby.
Yes, that's what it was missing. Yeah. His dad's martini before nighttime. As far as the effects go in it, so all of that actually looked pretty cool to me, but I will say, I saw this in 3D, and the movie actually looked really cool in 3D.
I think it's weird. 3D, it's funny because 3D is not super popular anymore, because I feel like it's gotten better, because it used to be only movies that were bright and colorful would really look, like Avatar, How to Train Your Dragon, all that. But I accidentally saw Thunderbolts in 3D, and it did look really good.
Did it?
And when you said that about this film, I was going to say, really? Because it's so dark and dingy, but I'm like, so is Thunderbolts, and it looked good.
Yeah, no, those scenes that you're talking about, where they're in the wormhole, where they're in space, even the way that the Silver Surfer looked in it, I was sitting there like, shit, this looks really good. Like,
interesting. Okay.
Yeah. Like, I'm not saying that it's completely necessary to go see this movie in 3D or anything like that, but I will say, every now and then I don't intentionally go to something that's in 3D. It really just depends on what the most convenient time for me convenient time for me to see the movie is. Sometimes one is in 3D, sometimes it's not, and it still is a crapshoot. It is still like, either something will look cool, or either I'm going to forget that this is in 3D 5 minutes in.
Yeah.
And no, this one did like kind of take advantage of a lot of those scenes and did it pretty effectively. Like the parts where, just one off the top of my head, where on the bottom of the screen you just kind of see their silhouettes from behind. The Silver Surfer's up here, and you see Galactus over there.
I understand that, yeah.
Yeah. I'm like, I was sitting there like, kind of wowed by that. I was like, shit, it's been a while since I've been this impressed by 3D.
Oh, it's pretty cool. Okay. Yeah, those scenes didn't look... Again, Galactus is, like I said, very big, very intimidating. But even when they're, like, fighting him, there's a little... And I know this is kind of nitpicky, but again, just in, like, the setup of the world... Well, first of all the solutions they have to stop him, about half of them don't work before he even gets there. So I'm kind of saying to myself, again, could you take this time to set them up before? Can I see them go on a date? Can I see them maybe going to space? Can I have just a little bit more? There's a scene where the Thing is watching an old TV report on how he used to look human, and then it turns off, and you see his reflection. I think it's in the trailer, him looking at the TV, how he looks now. I'm like, oh man, I can't wait for them to dive into it. They never dive into it. And but even with that, where I was talking about Galactus enters the city and stuff like that, there's a scene where part of the plan, major part of the plan, Johnny has to throw fire at his eyes to blind him for a second. It works. Oh! And I won't give away too much, but he has to blind him. It works. And he grabs it off, and then he's going to go, whatever, continue his evil. And then something happens where it's like, oh no, he's going this way. We got to stop him. And he is shooting every part of his body except his eyes. We just saw that work.
Yeah.
And he's going everywhere around him except the eyes. And again, it wouldn't even bother me that much if one of the characters wasn't totally obsessed with finding every possible way, every possible solution, every formula, everything to stop something. And there's so many moments in here I'm like, well, wait, that didn't make sense. Well, wait, why did she go along? Wait, why didn't he shoot him in the eyes? Wait, what do they want to do again? Well, wait, that didn't work before, so why did we even try it?
Yeah, I thought that too about the eyes. I did. But one thing I did appreciate, something you mentioned earlier, one thing I did appreciate about that whole sequence is, sure, like there's similar imagery that you see in a lot of climaxes of a movie like this, but I did like that it dived into them actually evacuating the city. I don't see that very much.
Well, even their solution, again, I won't go into it, but even that's didn't you want to know more about that? About where they go? They have a little throwaway line. I kept forgetting he was a teacher. I kept forgetting she was a politician. I kept forgetting what these people do because they were, again, almost like James Gunn's Superman. It was almost an overcorrection showing them operate as a family, which is great. Yeah. I want to see that. That's like the big core that people say of the Fantastic Four that is not in the other movies. But again, it's almost to a damaging degree because I kind of forget all the other stuff that they throw in there, where with something like Superman, yes, they throw a lot at you, but I do follow it enough, and I do remember when something comes back, I'm like, oh yeah, that's right, I remember that. I stored that somewhere in the back of my brain with these million other things, where in this one, they bring up she's a politician, and you almost never see it again. They bring up he's a teacher. You almost never see it again. And I always kind of think to myself, if you're going to do this thing, if you're not going to give us all the action, why not show us their lives with these powers?
I thought that... honestly, I like this movie better than Superman because this movie did slow down a bit more than... And I liked Superman. This movie did slow down a lot more than Superman did to really...
Definitely,
to really make me, appreciate some of the big spectacle more. With Reed, I like the glimpses that we got of him as a teacher in it, but I do agree that there were a couple of characters that took me a little longer to kind of get to know a little bit, because it is true, they do tone down some things. I imagine because they're plot points that have been done in a few other movies before, so they kind of only give you inklings of that here. Particularly Johnny, but as the movie went on, I was liking Johnny more as it went, and I did really like Thing a lot, but I like that actor.
I like him too, yeah. And I will say I was impressed too because I was looking at the CG on him. It didn't look good, it didn't look bad when I saw it in the trailers, but the expressions on him are very good and they're very subtle. And I was really impressed with this giant rock monster. Not only is he covered up in rocks, but he has to be later covered in a beard. That beard, I love that beard. Oh my God. The explanation around that is very funny. And I still got the expressions of it, just a little wink, a little smirk, even looking like, I mean, that's a plot point that doesn't even get addressed in here about him having to live with this, him being human and everything. And just from that look in a reflection under all that rock, I got what he was feeling. Yeah. And I think that's really, something to, I'm sure the actor was really there giving these expressions, but also the animators to work within all that covering up. I thought that was very, very impressive.
There was also a lot of this movie that I related to as well. It is a heavy movie about parenting. It is a heavy movie about first-time fatherhood, especially the guy being an older dad. The movie is very much about motherhood as well. And I liked those sequences a lot, and they did get to me quite a bit, especially something that happens in the climax. As corny as it is, it did get me. I was insanely emotionally invested by it. That being said, that sometimes that baby took me out of it.
The Twilight baby.
Yeah, so there are parts...
I'm just imagining how that looked in 3D.
I don't know if it made it better or worse because there were some parts, maybe because of the 3D, there were some parts where I was sitting there going, is that real or not? Or is the 3D...
I agree. There are some moments where I was kind of like, boy, that looks CG, but I'm not 100% convinced it. And then other parts I'm like, that's a cartoon.
Other parts I'm like, God, do we want to take care of this threat right here for a minute? So sometimes that would take me out of it a little bit. But when the emotions were there, especially the conflict that they have with this baby, no, I was really invested in that, while also thinking, here's what you got to do. You just got to take an NES Advantage and move the Statue of Liberty. That'll save Vigo from taking the baby.
You know, it's so funny. There's one point where, I mean, again, I don't want to go into spoilers, but when Galactus gets there at the end, I did kind of want to go, it's Vigo!
I know, dude. Yeah. I was too. And then I was like, he was a CG baby for this. Meanwhile, stunt Oscar was hanging outside the balcony. Because I'm sure he was really up there all that high. Sigourney Weaver had to go save him.
I will say, too, again, without going into spoilers, the setup, the initial threat, what Galactus wants was very interesting. And I do go, oh, why does he want that? And it's almost like, you know, everyone talks about this idea, if you could go back in time and kill so-and-so, this evil so-and-so, as a baby, would you do it? It's not quite that, but it's kind of similar. They have a similar setup of asking, what would you do in this situation? And they play off of the people's reactions a little bit with that too, which I thought was smart. Again, to some extent, I even could have used a little bit more, because everybody's kind of on one page with it in terms of all the people. I would have liked if we saw a little bit more like divide or people arguing with that. But I mean, that's why you have the family there too. They're going to have their thought and everything. That's another thing. When they come back, they are literally still in their astronaut outfits, and there's reporters there ready to ask questions. It's like, oh yeah, sure, I'll take questions. What? She just gave birth. You're gonna go and I mean, when we all know what happened up there and what they talked about, they're just gonna answer before they even get out of the uniform.
Well, you've seen reporters. It's kind of like that checks out.
Give us an hour. Let us change.
They had a month on that trip back. They're good. What I was thinking about in that sequence was like, that baby aged quite a bit in this short amount of time. But I kept going like, well, I don't know. Weird DNA, cigarettes.
Yeah. But so with that setup, it's good because you're wondering, why does he want this? But then even that sort of quickly turned off for me in terms of an interest, because it just became, okay, why does he want this certain something? That's what became the interest, because I already know what the movie is not going to do. So that suspense is kind of taken out. It's instead, well, how are they going to do the other thing? Because again, they're obviously not going to do this thing.
Yeah.
It would have been something if they did, but I mean, boy, I don't know how you would pull that off, in a Marvel movie in any kind of ethical way. But so even then, I'm like, all right, I'm just waiting for the workaround. Again, they give us like 3 or 4 different workarounds that half of them just don't even go anywhere, so I didn't see the point of it. And I also didn't buy there's something the entire world has to do.
Oh.
And I'm like, even in this retro optimistic world you're creating, I don't buy it. Especially this optimistic world where the people were arguing, not even arguing, they're all on the same page. Hey, you do this. And suddenly they're all going to agree to do the thing that the world is supposed to do.
I don't know. I guess they just showed me.
Needed. You can make up whatever you want in this scenario. Why have this silly thing that doesn't really play into much?
Well, I mean, it kind of, I don't want to get into, I'm trying to work around any kind of, it seems like it is something that is about to work, and then something comes in and destroys all of it.
But that's what I'm saying in terms of the story. Why? So the final solution they try, why don't they just say, I have an idea, this final solution we're going to try, whatever, and then skip all the other attempts so we can spend time either getting to know him more earlier, diving more into this idea, maybe having a few other action sequences. I don't need much, maybe one more, just them fighting something on Earth.
I was good on that. Like, and I see what you're saying. I get, when I was watching it, I appreciated it more in the sense of, I was sitting there going, shit, I don't really know how they're going to get out of this. Like, is this movie going to end really, really dark? So, no, I appreciated that there was an element of it being kind of unpredictable for me. Other than, I knew what one of the post-credit scenes was going to be.
You know, it's funny, I guess it's about spoilers. The first post-credit scene, stay for it. It's good.
Yeah.
The last one, don't say. Literally, I heard about 2 or 3 people at my theater just go, that's it?
That happened in mine, too.
Yeah.
Like, that should have been the middle. That should have been the mid-credit.
Yeah, like really give them the good one later, and it is a good one. The first one, I was kind of like, ooh, I did kind of get excited for that. But yeah, it's one of those things where it's like, yeah, you do not need to stay for the second one.
No, and it's not even that if it was if that thing at the very end was in the middle of the credits, that would have been cool, because
but for the very, very end.
I mean, I did like that. Again, different callbacks they have, like how it's clobbering time is only his catchphrase in
the show. I like the monster they're attacking. You know, it's just a cutaway in the opening, but I like the monster they're fighting is from the cover of the first issue. The giant one in the city. So no, there's good little callbacks there.
I spotted Alex Hyde White, who was Mr. Fantastic in the Corman one.
That's cool. That I missed. That's really cool.
Yeah.
I want to ask you about this because I'm debating whether or not to bring it up in my review, so I'll just use yours as a testing ground.
Excellent.
Did you get a vibe at all? Because this is something either everybody's going to point out or it's just me. And sometimes it's just me. Did you get a vibe that Mr. Fantastic was supposed to be on the spectrum?
I never thought that.
He was so calculating and almost so calm about it. And some of the things they said about... And again, it's one of those, like, they never say it straight up, but, you know, this is how your mind works. And sometimes it hurts me. I don't mean to. That is not my intention.
I see what you're saying.
And he even says, from when I was born, there's one line I was kind of like, again, if you could take it this way, like, I can't remember what it was. It wasn't I was born different, but it was something like I was born wrong or something like that. It was one of those lines I was like, hearing that line. If someone could interpret it this way, but again, they show he's still a very good, character. He's well written. If that is what they were going for, it's done well.
No, I agree, to the point to where
I didn't even notice it.
But I see what you're saying.
No. Well, somewhere I read, I always like this term, and I feel bad because I always forget the writer that said it, but somebody coined the term accidental autism. Where a character, I like someone's Tina from Bob's Burgers, or another Marvel one, from Guardians of the Galaxy. I always hear it's Dax or Drax. I always forget his name, Dax? But maybe the guy the wrestler plays. How he doesn't follow terms that mean something else. Everything goes over your head. No, it doesn't. I would catch it. That wasn't the intention, but a lot of kids on the spectrum really relate to him, apparently, because it's like an autistic superhero. Cool. And he just embraced it. He's like, cool, yeah. So it's one of those things where I'm wondering if that's going to be a thing that people talk about, or if it's just complete coincidence and I am way off.
No, I don't think you're way
on
off.
it. I remember when I saw Luca, I thought just very obviously there was an analogy to homosexuality in that. And so many people, even gay friends I have, just no, I didn't see that. I'm like, really?
Yeah.
And I just thought, maybe it's just me. And then I saw one of these artist alleys, somebody drew some sort of picture with just a bunch of gay characters on it. They're at a gay wedding, and the Luca kids around there. I'm like, somebody else saw it. Okay, it's not just me. He's like, oh yeah, how could you not? I'm like, okay, thank you. It's not just me. So yeah, that's one of those things where I didn't have a problem with it. I thought if that is what they were doing or hinting at, again, they never say it, but hinting at, I thought was done pretty well, like you say, even to a point where it could be, you know, and maybe it's
Yeah.
not. I don't know. It definitely better than something like The Good Doctor, where it feels like very exploitive and gimmicky and stuff like that.
Or what was that Zach Levi movie I had to go see recently? The Unbreakable Boy.
The Unbreakable Boy. Or was there one, Music? Was that the name of the other one?
That was the best one.
I never saw that one. I want to.
See it, man.
I love that kind of garbage. That kind of stuff.
You will be
so
in
bad.
heaven
I know,
if you
I
watch
really-
that movie.
I gotta check it out. I really gotta check it out. I love movies like that. What was the Rosie O'Donnell movie?
Oh, riding the bus with my sister.
Like that stuff's just it's so bad. It's amazing.
There's
I love it.
oh yeah, now you're speaking my language. We got the other sister.
Other
with Juliette
Sister, that's
Lewis.
another one. Oh my god.
Square Dance with Rob Lowe.
Oh, that one I haven't seen. Oh, that's okay. That's another one I gotta see. Okay. So yeah, just this whole genre of bad that I have to check out.
Oh yeah. We should start our own film festival.
I'm down for that. I'm totally down for that. And just a whole audience of people going,
What do you mean we lost them all after the first movie? Oh. What grade would you give this?
a C. Like, I didn't, like, hate it or like, oh, this is insulting or anything, but it was pretty dull for me. But I do acknowledge there's some good stuff in it, certainly.
I'm going as high as an A-. It would be higher if the baby looked better. Honestly, like, it really kind of is it. But this is one of my favorites from Marvel in a long time. Not that I've disliked all of them.
No,
the
and they
past
haven't
year,
been like awful or anything
Yeah.
like that. I mean, some have been bad, certainly, but in terms of like, oh, I can't even look. I don't usually get that. But I will say that with both, not Volume 4, what they call it, Phase 4. And something like this, I do like when they experiment. That's like my favorite, because I always want to encourage that more. And this is experimental, and I really do like that. And that is something where I do feel bad, because a lot of times when they do it, it either turns out okay or not that great.
Eternals.
Yes. So there was like that werewolf thing they did on Disney Plus that was good.
Oh, yeah.
But, you know, I like when they experiment. I want more of that. So there's always a part of me that wants to say, yes, but, you know, even though it's not my thing, please do more. I like when you try different stuff.
I completely agree, because even when it doesn't work, like Eternals, it was experimenting, it was very, very ambitious. You could see the mark of the director on that film. I didn't like it, but I can at least respect it.
That's the same thing I say, and this is better than Eternals, certainly, a lot better. I did feel like in many respects this is what Eternals was trying to do, because there is a lot more kind of talking and discussing things and everything like that, but there's also, you know, giant, you know, planet-eating monsters coming down and stuff like that. That's another thing. I want to see him eat some damn planets. He just knocks over some bill. I want to see him take a... But when he saw Lady Liberty there, I'm like, oh, you grab the thing. I mean, like, really pull a Cloverfield, man. Just have fun with it. But it was still kind of fun seeing him just run through the city.
Yeah.
Just sort of knock stuff out of the way.
All right, well, let's get to work on that film festival.
Let's do it.
See you guys.